Hey, Rebels, time to check out another weekly recap. I'm going to try to keep this one as short and sweet as I can. Uh, Short and sweet, I'm super, super bullish. A couple weeks ago, I was happy to see weekly closes above this 50% level in this trend line, and we've now had three consecutive weekly closes above that line. Very, very positive signs. And in fact, we just were able to sneak a weekly close above this trend line. Love to see that. We switched to the daily. I'm seeing lots of wicks to the downside, lots of buy-in coming up, just scooping this up. I really like to see that. So now that does not mean that we're up only from here, but these are the first signs of strength that I love to see. We did get our overbalance of time and price in Bitcoin, which increases the chances substantially that we have seen a structural low here, which is what we've been looking for. And so, yeah, if we've been following along the channel, we've kind of been following this in real time, even above here when before we had this dump, we were able to identify where this was going to turn around. It turned around right on the nuts, which was amazing. And just while everybody was absolutely losing their mind because we were just chilling, zooming out on the charts, looking and realizing that we're just in a bull market coming back down for a retest here. Um, Whoops, excuse me. If I put a 50% level on this entire bull market, we still corrected in the strong half of this tool. If I use this tool for here, we never had any closes below this level, this 50% level. And then if we get any even more granular and we zoom in, we can see that we are now closed above this 50% level. So we're starting to see price action in very, very strong territory. So also what I have here is a couple speed lines. So what I've done is I've taken this move from low to high and I've copied it and pasted it here. A lot of times markets will respect these lines. And it also just gives you an idea of the speed of the thing. We can see already immediately that this move is much stronger off the lows than this move. And so not gonna surprise me at all if we see kind of bumping our heads up against this major resistance line. Also these well, actually, no, shoot, that's amazing. We broke through all of these bottoms, which is incredible. And we closed above all these major weekly swing lows, which is very, very strong. So yeah, that's kind of going to be the main uh, takeaway from this particular meeting is that we are seeing lots and lots of signs of strength just stacking on each other. And that overbalance of time and price is what I was really waiting for to give me some major conviction, and that happened very quickly. So last week is when that happened, somewhere up in here, and we were able to get in the market and have a few positions kind of in and out because the exchange volume was kind of dicey, which I'll get into here. Looking a lot better. Like there's no confirmation of this. We got in very, very early on this, very, very early signs that the volume was starting to tick up with the prices. I mean, that's what I really wanted to pay attention to is what's the volume doing with the price? Because this was the biggest leading indicator that we had the last time that the markets turned around because we ended up seeing that exchange volume fall off before price did. That's kind of what I'm hoping that we're seeing here is we're seeing this volume come back pretty aggressively as prices are going up. So but that we weren't there yet. We were just barely ticked up. So it was the trends were up. We followed the trends, but we also were aggressive with taking profits because this could have turned around at any point, and Bitcoin was hitting some serious resistance levels, like right in here, that we just blasted through. So we were able to basically take profits, set orders above the market, where if they did keep going with momentum, and we were seeing the bottom, which was the thesis, that we'd be able to capture some more to the upside, and that was really lucrative for us. We actually, um, uh, yeah, we were able to. I mean, I think I started this 5K challenge like literally last week, and so doing really, really good there. And however, I do want to say that while I'm very bullish, and I think that we will absolutely be going up further from here, especially this year. I'm cautious here because we're at major resistance. We have this really powerful move, and we've also increased very strongly in our fear and greed index. So the greed came back very quickly. So it's not going to surprise me if things need to cool off just a little bit, maybe bleed into this trend line, or even come back down here for support before moving higher, just to kind of flush out some people who got in late on this move and FOMO'd in. We might need to shake them out before going a little higher. Not necessary, but just something that I'm keeping in mind so that I'm not surprised when the market turns around. And in fact, that's what I'd like to see, because what I'd like to see is eventually over the next, few weeks or month is see Bitcoin put in a swing to the downside, put in a higher low, because that's the next thing. We have a higher high right now. Once we turn down, we will print the higher high, which will be good. Well, we already did print the higher high actually, which is why we're neutral in the trend. And if we have another swing bottom come in, that will print the lower swing bottom, which will actually um, put us in an uptrend on the weekly, which will be a very, very strong signal also. Something I want to show here that I think is really interesting, and I just want to show you kind of how I analyze the markets. Very, very simple. These are all simple tools, just simple trend lines indicating strength and weakness. So we're very strong off of this, off of these lows, off of this trend line coming back here, basically cup and handle pattern that we're coming down to retest. Retested, have very strong price action push off of that into strong territory. So we like to see that. We're aggressively off of our speed line, so that so far this move is even stronger than the move that we had back here. Just by putting this simple line up here, I know that this move is stronger off the lows than it was here. And we would like to what would be nice is to at least maintain this move. That would be a good, strong, healthy sign. What I wanted to mention here is just measure what does Bitcoin typically do low to high, and then correction low to high. So right here we've got $58,000 from low to high, and then if we project that off of this low, right in there, 61,000. So basically an average of, let's just say, 60,000. Bitcoin goes up about $60,000 in price every move. If I project that right here, what do we get? Well, all of a sudden we get a level. Oh, excuse me. All of a sudden we get a level that matches this almost exactly of time of price wise anyway. Well, obviously price wise because I just measured from there to there. But so that's kind of what this line also will give you a target to the upside in price. That's what I wanted to showcase here. Not only does it give you the speed of the thing, it also gives you somewhat of a price target where if this move matches this, that's $60,000, which is what it has done this entire bull market. It went up $60,000, bled down, went up $60,000 per token, bled down. If it does it again, this is probably where we're going to see that. Another tool I really like to use is the trend fib extension, which basically projects this move right here. It projects that move off of this low. So that 50%, this is half of that move. If it does that whole move, of course, boom, gets us right back into this level. So anyhow, I like to use these tools to find areas where of interest in the market. So basically what I want to do is mark this level out because it's going to be a very high probability area to find resistance. Doesn't mean we can't. And we also wanted to see how it reacts to this because these levels are just really strong in the market. So if we blast through this, it's quite likely that we will try to come up here and test this level around 165. If we get rejected here, well, then we can maybe expect it to come back down for support on this 50% level or this trend line, something of that nature. But I know that people are mega bullish on their Bitcoin price predictions, but I just kind of want to sober things up and get a couple key levels where, this is where I'm seeing at least Bitcoin going to next. And then we'll see how it reacts to this level. So, other than that, we also had USDT dominance overbalance in time and price to the downside, which is what you want to see because that is showing that people are rotating from cash into the altcoin space or into Bitcoin. They're basically taking cash off the sidelines and injecting it into the market, which is what we want to see. A couple other metrics that I found very interesting. There are so many metrics that I'm just not even going to bother getting into on this video that are showing that are the reason that I'm basically hyper bullish. I don't want to get people to FOMO, but these are the times where the biggest money is going to be made. Basically, in the next 6 months, I think we're going to have more gains than we've had in the last 3 years in the altcoin space, basically. So if you haven't been to the party yet, then you're in luck because the next 6 months are probably going to be more lucrative than the last several years in the altcoin space. anyhow, I digress. What we're seeing here is the exchange reserve, meaning how much Bitcoin is on exchanges, is basically at, well, it's absolutely at cycle lows. And typically, how we see this is kind of going back into the bear market. We had larger amounts of Bitcoin on exchange, kind of showing that people have the intent to sell. Because that's why people put Bitcoin on exchanges, is to sell it. And when it's off of exchanges, they're putting it into cold storage, meaning that they're intending to hold on to it. So anyway, a low reading on this chart is a good sign, meaning that Bitcoin isn't coming to exchanges to get sold, kind of further giving us further conviction that this is accumulation, not distribution. The other thing that we see is the over-the-counter balances on of Bitcoin is at all-time lows right now. Meaning, so over-the-counter is basically like if you're a big player and you have $100 million or $1 billion and you want to buy Bitcoin, you can't buy it on the open market, or you're going to just shoot the price up, which you don't want to do, because then you're kind of fighting yourself. You're buying against yourself and just driving the price up. So what these big players will do is they'll go to an over-the-counter desk and they will basically just trade. Like if it's like if I have a trade with you and I just swap something with you, that doesn't affect the market price. But if I go to the market and I have a whole bunch of Bitcoin to sell, then that is going to affect the price. So people do this kind of behind closed doors, and just with a handshake, and they swap, so that they're not doing a lot of affecting price. And so what you've seen is like this has been steadily going down, 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 down as the bull market has been on the rise. And what's going to happen is basically when these OTC desks run out of Bitcoin, they're going to have to buy it on the open market, which is definitely going to help out the price of Bitcoin. So these are all positive signs. If I just jump in really shortly on a couple things that I'm very interested in, there's several alts that have hit an overbalance in time and price. One of those being Cetus, which I'm very interested in, and I've been interested in a long time. And by waiting, we were able to capture a little bit down here during that week. And I think this is where I sold right here, just because I saw, well, just things were hot and it was looking good. And it was a small position anyway. So I was very happy with it. But that has overbalanced in time and price officially. And the reason I'm interested in Cetus is because it's basically a beta play on Sui. So the last run up, it did 200% over Sui, and Sui did a 4x. So basically, Cetus did an 8x during that same time. So outsized returns for sure. That doesn't, because it's higher risk, I wouldn't put all of my capital into this. But if I had a Sui position, what I might be tempted to do is look for an entry and take some profits from Sui and put it into Cetus. Because I've measured it out here. This run, Cetus did basically 120%, and during the same time, Sui did 80%, which is nothing to scoff at. It's amazing, but I would have a larger position in Sui and gain that 80% and maybe a smaller position in this one, because it's smaller. It also means the downside volatility is higher. Cetus or Sui. I'm not exactly sure what Sui drew down, but I can tell you before I've measured this, and Cetus bled 95%, 90. Well, actually, no, let me just do this. I've measured a million charts. I can't say that, but I can guarantee you it's been more than 80. Yeah, 83. I was thinking of a different chart. So yeah, 83%. And that's basically what alts do, is they'll give you 300%, they'll draw down 80%. Getting to a point where everybody loves it, you're going to want to sell it because everybody wants to buy it. So you sell to them, and then now everybody hates it. Everybody hates it because it's just down in the dumps. But because we were just following along, reading what the market was doing, we had this nice little bottoming pattern happen, and then we entered on a break here of this swing top, and we were able to get a little bit of upside there. So I would love to find another entry on this token and go in with more size. There's several of them like that that I post in the group. So that's the best way to, anytime I find something interesting or an entry, like all last week, we did really well by kind of getting in it, which is hard to, it's not usually typically good to get in and out, but it was like just aggressively take profits. And then if an opportunity presents itself, just go with the trend. And that's what we ended up doing. This is a token I've been wanting to get into for a very long time. And of course, this one got away from me a little too quickly. I think I didn't want to be in too many things because if I was wrong, then I was just going to I was going to be wrong 5 or 6 times rather than being wrong 2 or 3 times, right? So either way, what I'm looking for here is what I would like to see, and I've set an alert right here, is I'd like to see this swing down because we're overheated right here. We have about 7 to 10 bars in one swing direction is typically overheated. So waiting for a nice pullback here. Where are we going to find support? And if I can get some confirmation that we've found some support here, and this could take off really quickly too, which is hard to say. But if I were to buy in these areas after, I would like to see a pullback first. I'm definitely waiting to see the swing turn down because everything that goes up must come down. I want to see where this is coming to because if I can get an entry down here, all the better because it's already shown me that it has the intent to go. Massive volumes coming into the market right here, highest volumes that we've seen basically coming in. So we know buyers are coming in on this support to they're finding value and they're ready to go. So anyway, long story short, if we're able to wait for some more structure in the market and more confirmation, and we were able to get in here or something just to all-time highs, that's 400%, which is a 5x. And then there's other projections that I have here from a long time ago based on these ranges. That's an 8x. And so things are just basically the next 6 to 8 months are going to be extremely lucrative. I should probably be the most excited that I've ever been, but I'm trying to basically curb my emotions and be as calm as I've ever been because this is really this is the time. I mean, major opportunities are coming. Don't get me wrong. In a year, we'll probably have the biggest shorting opportunity that we're going to have in 18 years because these real estate cycle is 18 years. And so when it rolls over, it's going to be the largest selling opportunity we're going to have for a very long time. And then after we have a secular bear market of 2 or 3 years, probably at least 3 years, that will be the biggest buying opportunity for the next 18 years. So why don't we make the best out of this, mighty alt season that we're about to get and just start stacking as much cash as we can in anticipation for these major, major opportunities. I mean, these are major opportunities of this cycle, but these will just absolutely massively compound in the next 5 to 10 years. And most people don't have the patience for that. Most people don't have the patience or the conviction behind that. But that's what this channel is about. Like, let's just follow the charts, see what the charts are doing, and let's keep, I really think that we are still early on this emerging technology, and it would basically just be the backbone of how the world works, and most people won't even know it. And so, kind of like the internet, I guess, basically, where it's like this blockchain technology is going to transform the world probably even more so than the internet did. And we're early to the game. And right now it's kind of a degenerate gambling casino. You got to be careful and play it smart, but that's basically what I'm here to do. I'm here to find as many unique opportunities as I can and just find good risk to reward, right? So like when this pulls back, we're going to have really good risk to reward because if I'm able to enter here, and even just riding it all the all-time highs, you can see that my risk is relatively low to my reward. A lot of people will get in, around here, maybe when things are exciting. And you can see that the risk to the downside is much greater than the risk to the upside. It could keep going. We don't know that. But all we have is this to measure on. And so if I can snag an entry down in here, maybe off this support, you can see the risk to reward is really great. And that means that I can be wrong several times. If I keep my risk to reward similar across many bets, I can be wrong many times and be right once and still make money. So a lot of people think that you have to be right more than half the time, and that's actually not true. I could be wrong 60% of the time or 70% of the time if my losses are much, much smaller than my gains. So anyway, you got to keep the losses small and the wins bigger. So that's the name of the game. Anyway, make a comment down below. Tell me if any of this was useful, anything else that you want to know. I have a giant watch list here of different, and I have alerts on all of them, so I'll keep you posted. Let's see. This one was a good entry that we had the other day. I've been waiting on this one because this one, again, amazing risk to reward. Just to the range highs is a 3 to 4x, from these levels. So I think yeah, I think what I did is I actually ended up taking some profits from some of the other leverage trades last week and buying on support here. Or actually, no, I brought a break. It was a double top, and when it broke the double top is when I bought in, and I just this has been the range lows for basically for forever. So we're near the lows. Risk to reward is really good. I like that. And then the last one that we got into recently was Portal, also a very, very, very small position because a very, very small position because we broke the trend here. And I'm just really convinced that we're seeing a structural bottom. So I don't really see much probability to the downside. But again, this one in particular is a much smaller position. And then the other thing I meant to mention on this one that I do like to see is that we are in a weekly uptrend. So that's really what I'm looking for. Also, on a lot of other charts is something very, very similar to this, where we print a higher low and then we break that swing top, putting in a higher high, causing this a week to turn up on the weekly. That's a very strong signal. Those longer term trends, well, they last longer and they're more powerful. So you may not snipe the bottom. We entered up here, which obviously isn't the low, but you can see that it offered great risk to reward. So these are the kind of things that these are the kinds of things that I want to show. Because a lot of, like I said, a lot of YouTubers really just talk about, it's a lot of hype. So anyway, we'll just keep tracking how things are going.